Hey there. So I have to admit, I found it really funny that after I listened to Peterson and Huberman's recent podcast, I found that my mind was completely wandering to a childhood classic, The Never-Ending Story. So after listening to this podcast with Andrew Huberman and Dr. Jordan Peterson, I honestly couldn't help but allow my mind to kind of go into The Never-Ending Story because I loved the movie. And it's one of those movies that it really stirred my heart and it really beckoned me to adventure as a kid, and I still love it to this day at 46. So as I reflected on their podcast discussion, and what really stood out to me is that our gaze shapes our aim. And I realized just how much this parallels what is woven into The Never-Ending Story. So if you haven't seen it or it's been a really long time, here is a quick refresher. So the story follows a boy named Bastian, and he gets pulled into this magical book where the hero, Atreyu, faces incredible trials to try to save the crumbling world of Fantasia. So as it turns out, Atreyu isn't just some random hero. He's actually a reflection of Bastian himself. So what really stood out to me with Atreyu's journey is that it really mirrors the idea that Peterson and Huberman explored. It's that where we set our gaze really determines where we end up. So Atreyu, he keeps his focus forward even when he's trudging through the swamp of sadness or facing the nothing. He doesn't let pain or setbacks really define his journey. And of course, he's not alone during that journey. He has all kinds of allies like Falkor, the Luckdragon. And now if you ask me, Falkor is Jesus in this story. So seriously, hear me out. Falkor, he shows up at the most dark moments that Atreyu is going through. He lifts Atreyu up out of despair. He gives him hope and just the courage to keep going. It's such a beautiful picture of the support and grace that we absolutely all need. So here's the thing. Life is distressing at times. We can't avoid it. It's one of those promises we have on this life. So trauma, anxiety, or grief, they all have a way of clouding our focus and pulling our gaze more toward our struggles. But what if we were more like Atreyu? What if we chose to keep looking forward? Again, if we think about where our gaze is, it focuses our aim. So what if we trusted that even in the toughest moments, there is adventure, there is meaning, and there are allies waiting to help us along the way. So this is silly. I loved the podcast with Huberman and Peterson. I wonder if they would just guffaw at me and where my mind went with The Never-Ending Story. But here's my encouragement. Think about where your gaze is right now. If you're focused on things that will help you, you can aim toward growth and healing, right? But if not, it's okay. You have the power to shift it. You absolutely do. So I've put together a really quick exercise to help you to start redirecting your focus, which you will find, on my blog, or if you subscribe to my newsletter. So take a look at it, give it a try, and let me know what you think. So if you're curious about all of this and how this ties back to Peterson and Huberman's podcast, you can grab that link as well. Or if you want to dive deeper into the meaning of The Never-Ending Story like I did, there's a blog that I wrote about that too. So remember, your story is not over, and there's so much more adventure ahead of you. Keep your gaze set, even in the midst of all the pain that you might be facing, and you are going to reach those goals. Take care.
Your heart.